Hi, everybody. My name is Gareth Dyke. Thank you for the opportunity to give this presentation today. It's great to be here virtually. It's great to participate in this EASE meeting. It's my honor to be a participant in this discussion, in this series of presentations on AI tools and how they can help us as editors and help us as researchers. So what I'm going to talk about in this short presentation today is really some of the information that we've collected around the most famous of the AI tools, the most famous of the AI writing tools. Of course, everybody's heard of ChatGPT. I won't talk just about ChatGPT, but I will focus quite a lot of this presentation on ChatGPT. Not getting worried about these tools, not getting freaked out about these tools, but using these tools to help us. And what I do is I make a lot of content. I run a lot of training courses. marsglobal.co.uk, for example, is one of the companies that I'm deeply involved with. So we're advertising that company in this presentation today, Mars Global, marsglobal.co.uk. And what we do is we provide training courses to researchers. We help busy academics for whom perhaps English is not their first language get their work written up and published successfully in international journals. We help them with writing clinical trials. We help them with developing medical research. We help them with statistical analyses and all of those things that researchers struggle with. And of course, one of the things that researchers struggle with and why tools like ChatGPT and other AI tools are so fantastic, not a threat, but a huge opportunity, is of course around writing and publishing and editing and formatting and getting work ready for publication in international journals. Well, I can hear you immediately starting to think, hang on a minute there, Gareth, is it ethical? And here's a few examples of recently how publishers have reacted to the rise of these open-based chat tools like ChatGPT, these open source AI tools to help us with writing and help us with publishing. Springer Nature, the world's largest academic publisher, has clarified its policies on the use of AI writing tools in scientific writing. Other publishers have followed suit. Other publishers have done pretty much the same. They've said that they don't have any problems with scientists using AI tools to help write and generate ideas for research, and that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit. But this has to be disclosed. And I can tell you that in my own work, creating content, writing blog articles, formatting and captioning videos, creating information for publishers and other researchers, ChatGPT and these other AI writing tools, absolutely fantastic, saving so much time. Just the other day, we were putting together a series of video presentations. We're looking at content that had been created by other researchers in the past. We want to recreate that content. We want to rewrite that content. We want to paraphrase that content to reuse it with citation in the content that we're creating. Using ChatGPT, for example, as a paraphrasing tool, absolutely amazing, absolutely fantastic. I can't tell you how many hours of work this tool has saved us so far in the kinds of work that we do. So going back to Springer Nature for a moment, there were a few papers published, as you'll probably be aware, that credited ChatGPT as an author. One of the other things that Springer Nature has done in the context of ethics and the use of AI tools in academic writing, publishing, is to say that software like ChatGPT can't be credited as an author in the papers that get published in those journals. So you've got to tell the publisher that you've used it, no problem to use it to generate ideas, saves a huge amount of time, very, very helpful for authors around the world for whom English is not their native language, of course, but we've got to be open, we've got to be ethical, we've got to be straightforward about the use of these tools. So to continue this discussion, Here's Elsevier. They've announced a new author policy on AI and AI-assisted tools in scientific writing. Authors should not list AI and AI-assisted technologies as authors on these academic papers, very similar to what we saw already in the Springer Nature situation. Elsevier's policy: authors should disclose the use of AI and AI-assisted technologies in the writing process, adding a statement on the end of their manuscript. Fair enough. You've also, according to Elsevier, got to be open and transparent about the tool that you use, the purposes for using it, and of course the limitations of the tool or service as well, which is, by the way, something that we're now providing training in. So if anybody listening to this would like to get extra training in the use of these tools for academic writing, academic editing, do get in touch with us. Have a look at the website marsglobal.co.uk. So fantastic. And let's continue. These policies around the use of AI tools in academic writing and editing are intended, of course, to ensure that authorship is attributed to human authors responsible for the content of the paper. The policy also aims to prevent the misuse of AI and AI-assisted technologies in scientific writing, such as using them to generate plagiarized or fraudulent content. We wouldn't want that now, would we? But very important for us to note, accept, and grasp hold of as a huge opportunity as editors and as researchers, these tools are not being prohibited in writing. People are going to use them. We have to use them. We have to grasp this, as I already mentioned, as an opportunity, because these policies simply state that authors need to disclose their use of these tools and, of course, take responsibility for the content of those articles. So how are we using AI tools like ChatGPT to help researchers? Well, what if you need to come up with a research question and formulate it? You can ask ChatGPT. You can then rejig it, reformulate it in the context of your own research. What about a literature review? You can use these tools to conduct a thorough literature review to determine what's currently known about the research question and identify research gaps. Imagine how much time that's saving for research students. I used to spend months searching the literature, walking off down the corridor to the library. Yes, I'm that old, getting the latest journals that had appeared in my subject area, checking them through, looking for papers relevant to my own topic. What about study design? Choosing an appropriate study design. We're teaching medical researchers how to use AI tools to develop research and study designs based around their own topics. So very, very useful. You can identify populations of interest, recruit participants for the study, write emails that you need to send out to potential study participants, check that participants meet inclusion criteria, collecting data. This is very important. Surveys, creating interviews, creating medical tests and other measures. Very, very, very useful for qualitative medical researchers. You need a survey created, it can be done. You need a questionnaire put together, it can be done. And of course, we're also and have long been using AI tools for statistical analyses, particularly inferential statistics and other types of analyses. We can also train researchers to use these tools to help them interpret their results, put their discussion sections together, and write effective conclusions. Input text, input results, ask the AI tool to summarize these in an appropriate way, put together an effective conclusion section. So for researchers, it's amazing. Huge amount of time getting saved. Quality of time can be used on other tasks, because at the end of the day, why should researchers have to spend so much time writing and editing their papers? That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is getting the key results out there and published. Why shouldn't researchers be able to avail themselves to use these kinds of tools? It's a huge opportunity, as we mentioned already. Manuscript preparation, of course, goes without saying. Peer review. I see lots of ideas and workflows being developed already around the use of AI tools as a component of the peer review process. And of course, we've been using these tools for years, various forms of AI in the publication process itself. Although publishers are not yet where they should be on this, there's nevertheless a large suite of AI tools already used in the workflow. Submit your paper to any of the big editing companies. They've already been using AI tools for several years as part of their paid-for editing services. That's something that's out there in the industry already. And you'll be aware of the kinds of writing tools that are being sold to universities, to journals, to publishing houses by the big editing companies, by the big publishers. Tools to help researchers be effective in their academic writing. Just this morning, before putting together this presentation, I got 3 emails, well, 2 emails and a post on my Twitter feed. Down on the right-hand side, the post on my Twitter feed said more than 1,000 AI tools, AI apps have been released already last month. This is increasing at an incredibly fast rate. So companies like Editage, Inago, for example, pooling together resources, providing training for researchers. Here's a screenshot from an email I got this morning from Editage. Do I want unlimited access to what they think are the best AI tools curated for my research? As we've been talking about in this presentation, tools to help researchers. And Scholar AI, put together by a consortium, including one of the founders of AJE, a company that I used to work for, an AI plugin to ChatGPT to help researchers discover research literature related to their particular research field. That's now had more than 6 million downloads in just a couple of months. So ways to help, tools to help, as the title of this session suggests. So as a language model, ChatGPT, I strongly believe, and other tools are providing us with a great deal of assistance in various ways throughout the process. In our particular case, at Mars Global, conducting and creating clinical research manuscripts. So we put together a few ways that you can do this. I've covered these a little bit in this presentation already, but if you need, for example, help refining a research question, you ask for suggestions or input. The tools can provide you with relevant literature review. These tools can also give you keywords or phrases that you can then use in a more comprehensive literature research and help you to choose an appropriate study design. 3 steps in clinical research that many colleagues internationally really struggle with and really end up spending lots of time on. So why shouldn't they be able to speed up those processes? And that's why we exist. We help researchers, train researchers, provide information for researchers in these different areas. If you need help identifying a population of interest, criteria can be suggested. If you need help designing methods for data collection approaches can also be designed by AI tools. And ChatGPT as well, not sure whether you knew this, but ChatGPT is able to suggest statistical methods for analyzing your data based on your research question. Turn that back around, and what you have is a tool that can look at papers and assess whether the statistical analyses in those papers have been appropriately performed based on the data presented. Statistical peer review expert, or automated or AI versions of checking basically whether a paper submitted to a journal contains appropriate statistical techniques, is very important for publishers, because that's something that not all peer reviewers will be able to do. If you can automate that step, you can speed up the process a great deal. So very important also. ChatGPT can help you interpret your results, suggest ways to present them in a clear and in a concise manner, suggest areas for further discussion, provide you with examples of how to discuss the results in the context of your literature. And as we talked about before, chuck a bunch of text in there from your results, tell it to give you a structured conclusion section, 10 or 4 bullet points, and Bob is your father's brother. Manuscript preparation, how to structure, and this is something that I've been doing a lot myself with my own stuff, asking for suggestions on structure for blog articles, for academic papers that I've been writing myself. Very, very useful, because often I find personally that I can't really get writing until I've agreed with myself. I do talk to myself all the time. I need to have a debate with myself. I need to agree with myself what the structure of the paper will be that I'm going to write before I get going. So with ChatGPT, I'm able to do quite a lot of that much more quickly. And also for authors, responding to comments or revisions. Upload the review comments, ask for suggestions on how to respond, build out a structured response to peer reviews template also saves a great deal of time. And of course, going back to the editing step, I know most of our colleagues listening to this are editors. Of course, you're all out of work. ChatGPT is going to be taking a lot of the burden off of us as editors. I'm joking, of course. I'm joking, of course, everybody. But we are going to use this kind of tool and other AI tools more and more in our daily working lives to speed up, become more efficient, and get more done. Get more content created, get more content edited, get more information processed. And that really is what it's all about. I'm a big advocate for open science, open access, preprint servers, and these kinds of tools as well, because I don't think that the writing and the publishing and even necessarily the peer review step should be what stands in the way of getting results out there, getting great science, great academic work out there so that it can be shared with your relevant research community. So, as a language model, of course, there are limitations in the context of a clinical manuscript. We won't talk in any detail about what those might be in this particular presentation, but I would encourage you, if you have interest, further interest in gaining additional training in the use of these tools, we are here to help. Absolutely. Do have a look at marsglobal.co.uk, some ways in which ChatGPT may not be able to help. Generate original data, of course. Provide medical advice. Replace human expertise. Very, very important also. But I do think that in the context in particular of literature reviews, this tool is very, very important. With that, I will say thank you very much for the opportunity to give this presentation today. My name is Gareth Dyke. Do have a look at the Mars Global various social media accounts shown here on this slide. Thank you again for the opportunity to give this talk, and I will hand back to our moderator in case there are any questions or comments. Thank you again, and have a great rest of the conference.